It seems like we have consistently heard the refrain that Michael Jackson used to sing of why? And so I just want to be clear, because I have an opportunity to see so many people that I served with, and unlike the chair, I actually do recall a number of things, such as the fact that the state was grown by 95% people of color. I also recall, and I'm old enough to remember, when Texas lawmakers took pride in not being D.C. I'm old enough to remember how you ignored the voices of people during the last redistricting. I'm old enough to remember that we were assured that we would have our own map done from the Texas House, yet we didn't. Instead, we took the Texas Senate map. I'm old enough to remember that we were assured that we would have 2 new seats, one in the DFW area and one in the Harris-Fort Bend area. I am old enough to remember that we acknowledged that the Latino community absolutely was entitled to another seat under the Voting Rights Act. I am old enough to remember when we fought the current maps, because while 95% of the growth was due to people of color, not only did they create 2 new Anglo-majority seats that are approximately 766,000 people each, y'all paired the 9th and 18th congressional districts, and we had to fight to unpair them. I am old enough to remember that I testified in court about a month ago, and the state took the position that they didn't consider race when they created the maps that we're currently sitting under. I am old enough to remember that this legislature has consistently been found to be intentionally racially discriminatory in the drawing of its maps ever since the Voting Rights Act was enacted. I am also old enough to remember that it was a great Texan that signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965 into law. So,
please finish your testimony.
Yes, to comply with the Voting Rights Act, we should have 60% of the seats that allow people of color to elect their representatives. That would be 24 seats. Instead, we currently only have 14. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. I am asking you, in the words of MLK, where will you stand?
Thank you for your testimony.
Representative Wu, recognized to question the panel.
Thank you. This question is for everyone here. The preface is, we've been trying to find out why we're here. The chair says that he knows jurisdictionally what the authority is that we're here, but not exactly what we're supposed to be doing. The governor has not really said anything other than he wants to eliminate coalition districts. Could you tell us, do you support districts made up of coalitions of all races, that black, white, Asian, Latino, everyone together, coming together to pick their people, pick the person that they want, no matter who that person happens to be? Do you support that, and do you think that should be protected?
Yes, Representative Wu, I do support coalition districts, and as I testified, all 13 districts currently held by a Democratic member of Congress are districts where a coalition of minority voters elect their candidate of choice. And therefore, if this panel does, as President Trump has suggested or stated, that he would like to remove 5 Democratic members and replace them with 5 Republican members, you will be intentionally dismantling coalition districts in violation of the Voting Rights Act and the needs and desires of the people of Congressional District 7 and districts throughout the state.
I echo the points that were just made, but I want to say that while we've been talking about law, and there's a number of lawyers that are sitting here, we understand what the Voting Rights Act stands for. We also understand that there's a little thing called the Constitution that some people in D.C. want to ignore. The reality is that we are simply seeking representation of all people in Texas. All 30 million people should have a voice in the policies that are made. And frankly, when you live in a democracy, if you have a problem because you don't want to answer to your poor policies, then maybe come up with better policies. But at the end of the day, we absolutely should not be going out of our way to do what this legislature is consistently been found to be guilty of doing, which is to make sure that they can do an overemphasis of Anglo voices in this state. Only 40% of this state is Anglo, yet somehow we have more than 60% of our seats that are elected by Anglo-majority districts. As I said in 2021, as I argued against these maps, the math ain't mathing.
Yeah, well,